This episode of Dana Being Dana is brought to you in part by Marabella, Kincaid, Frederick, and Marabella, serving Chicagoland communities for more than 70 years.
Welcome back to Dana Being Dana, where we are talking about relationships, family law, divorce, and moving on. Joining me now are my friend, Dr. Shon Kyle Gary, and her husband, Greg Gary. This is the first marriage for Greg and the second marriage for Shon, and they have a beautiful love story. How are you both doing?
Good.
Thank you so much for joining me. You two are newlyweds?
We are.
For better or for worse?
Yes, during the pandemic.
Yes. Yep. So what do you appreciate most about each other?
Well, she's very easy on the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's a gorgeous woman. And when we met at a time for both of us that was, I don't know, we were both kind of going through something. And I don't know, we just kind of hit it off right then and there. And I felt like we clicked right away.
Yeah? So tell me what were you going through, Greg, at the time?
I had a business that was going under.
Okay.
So I had a business that I shut down, and I was feeling like, oh boy, what do I do next? Yeah. All those kind of things. And then came Shon.
You've been engaged before?
I have.
Yeah?
Yes.
Twice. Twice. So the third time is the charm, is that right?
Yes. All it took was the right woman.
Yeah,
That's
the right woman. Well, I think a lot of people can relate to having business troubles or having a business end during this time. So I think, being able to find love amidst that storm is what it's really all about.
Yeah.
Shon, how about you? You were married before. Can you tell us a little bit about that and your divorce?
Sure. Well, what I do appreciate about Greg is in meeting him, he was very, I guess, familiar, if you will, with...
What does that mean?
He had dated divorced women before, so I appreciate it.
He had dated divorced women before.
He had dated divorced women before.
King of divorced women.
But I appreciated that he allowed me to kind of just be me. You know, I didn't have to be perfect Shon or super happy Shon. Just had to be Shon.
Yeah.
And so wherever the chips fell that day was fine with him. So if I was in a great mood, he was fine with that. If I was down or disappointed that something was going on, he was a good ear to listen, and he was just very open that people who are divorced have other matters they have to handle that don't have anything to do with you, but they're part of who you are. So I appreciated him just letting me be me.
We are complicated people.
Yes.
Yeah.
How long were you married?
I was married the first time 22 years. 22 years. And have 5 beautiful children from that. So, nice. And that came to an end in 2015. And it was really, really devastating, Dana. I mean, we're friends, so we
met during that time.
We met during that time.
And
so that can kind of rock your confidence and make you feel that you're not quite who you are.
Right.
And so I met Greg almost a year later, 2016. We had our first date on New Year's Eve. And that
Tell us about it.
So you were coming back from Texas.
Yes, I had gone on a family trip to Texas. We met on a dating app.
Okay.
And so that was new for me.
Yeah.
It was scary for me. I had not been around all this dating scene stuff.
That's how Greg found his divorced women.
Yes, he went trolling on the site. Who's divorced?
She didn't tell you, she ghosted me on the site.
Really?
Yeah,
I did.
She ghosted me.
Why did you ghost him?
I had been married for 22 years, so I was not real comfortable with dating.
Yeah.
I was more comfortable with people introducing me to people than the dating app, but I tried it. It was new.
Yeah.
And I had not known him. I didn't know anyone who knew him. And so talking with this person that was a stranger with pictures, you don't know who they really are, I just got uncomfortable. I liked who he was. He was really good looking and smart and all these things, but so I just said, you know what, I don't want to do this online dating thing. So I just turned it off.
Yeah. So we all want to know, What happened next? How did you all reconnect?
He stalked me. He looked for me on Facebook. He looked for me and found me 6 months later.
No.
You found her on social media.
No, she came up in, people you should know.
Yeah,
kind of
I'm
thing.
sure. Come clean. Come on.
Yeah.
Now, had you exchanged numbers?
No.
In the first time you all met?
No.
No.
Okay.
We
I
had
came
only
up in his
communicated
feed.
on that site.
Yeah.
So Facebook told you about people you should know.
You should know this person.
You should know this person.
Yeah, and I agree with Facebook.
Yes. So he sent me a friend request, and I saw
You
it.
recognize who he was?
I recognized because it was the same picture.
And she was all over it. As soon as I friended her, instant messages all over the place. Hey,
Goes
what are you
down
doing?
in
Blah,
the
blah,
DM.
blah, blah, blah.
Me,
She was
you
all over
found
it.
me.
It goes down in the DMs.
But we had friends in common.
Okay.
That I didn't know we had once we started re-talking again, and I figured out one of my really great friends went to high school with him, so then I felt comfortable.
Yeah. So you guys went on your first date, New Year's Eve,
2016.
2016.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be just a lunch date before she went to her big party that was, in the West Loop, right?
I never made it to the party.
Never made it to the party.
Wonder
Had
what
such a
happened.
good time.
That's great. This was the party. You are the party, wherever you're at.
That's right.
So how did you know that she was the one?
I actually knew that night.
Wow.
I actually knew that night. We went from a lunch date to, hey, there's a movie theater down the street. You want to check out this movie? And she was fine with that. Mm-hmm. Then after the movie, she attacked me in the elevator.
Attacked you?
No,
Yeah.
not at all. I did not. No, I did
She
not.
attacked me in the
You
elevator.
just let Shon be
That's
Shon.
not the way it went.
I'm like, well, I'm going by my cousin's place for New Year's. Would you like to come with me?
Yeah.
She followed me. Yeah.
It was a little bit different. I think I got attacked in the elevator. I was like, oh my
Something
goodness,
went
I
down
guess
in the
he's
elevator.
attracted.
Something went down. Sparks flew.
It did. Sparks flew.
In the elevator.
Yeah.
So when did you know that Greg was the one?
He knows this, and it's nothing to say about him or anything, but I had a lot of trust issues with men, obviously.
Sure.
It happens to some women when you get divorced. So I wasn't immediately, ready to jump into this relationship.
That's horrible.
He expressed himself, and that was great.
No,
but it took me maybe another 30 days
30 days.
to
be
really
ready.
feel like,
To jump in that elevator.
okay, all right, okay, we
I
can do
asked
this.
her on another date the immediate next day.
He did. We actually had like almost 48 hours of date.
Nice.
From the first date.
Yeah.
That means something.
Yeah.
That means
we
something.
didn't want to be out of each other's company,
Yeah. So tell us about your proposal.
You go ahead.
but well, we have pretty, I think, untraditional proposal story. We knew we wanted to be married probably a year into dating. And Greg, I always joke and say, Greg has asked me to marry him 20 times, and it's been legitimate. He really wanted to be married, and I did too. And I just think we had to work through some things when you come from a whole life beforehand.
Right.
And so I think and I never told him no. I just used to say, not yet. Or not now. And so I think this last time, it was kind of silly. We were just in the bathroom, and he said, Shon, I turned around, and he was on his knees. He's like, will you please just marry me? Just get it done. What are we doing? And so
She said, I could probably do it in 2 weeks.
yeah, and I said, okay, I'm going to call your bluff. You really want to do this? You know what? Let's just do it. Let's get it done in 2 weeks. And he was like, let's do it. So it was like a challenge almost, like, can we get this done? So it started off being silly, but it got really serious really quick. And it was 2 weeks' time. We put together a whole wedding with our best friends and family, and made it happen.
Yeah.
Got all my kids flown in
Wow.
town.
And so you guys got married on New Year's Day.
Got married on New Year's Day,
New Year's Day.
2020.
That's lovely.
1/1/20.
It's beautiful.
Minister friends of ours did the ceremony,
That's
Yeah.
nice.
and
Yeah.
we had the reception
At home.
at home.
With all our friends and family, so it was
Yeah.
good.
What makes your marriage solid and the real thing?
I'm very aware of who I am now. You know, when I first was married, I was 21. I didn't really know who I would be. And now I'm 47. So I know exactly who I am.
Yeah.
And I accept exactly who he is. And so we just kind of work with that. I know that he's going to disappoint me, and I know that I'm going to disappoint him. And we're going to do this till death do us part. That's
the
it.
thing about coming together at our age. We already know who we are. We're professionals.
Yeah.
We have an idea of what we bring to the party already.
Yeah.
So
You are the party.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Happy New Year.
Right.
Happy New Year.
And we already know not to expect the other person to be perfect. That you shouldn't have to expect the other person to encompass everything you need in life.
Right.
That's
What do you think is the difference between love and compatibility when it comes to relationships?
I think you can grow to love someone. I think that compatibility for me is way more important. Do we have the same goals? Do we have the same foundation? Do we want the same for our future? Can we work together with what each other already has? And if we can get together on those things, I think love flows naturally from that.
Yeah.
I think not that you shouldn't be like, oh, super attracted. Of course you're attracted to them.
Right.
But in being divorced, I know that love isn't enough. You can love that person and it can still fall apart. And so I think the other things for me were more important. And then I grew to love him in just the way that he is, because he loved me.
Yeah. Well, compatibility is something that you should definitely pay attention to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It has been incredibly trying times at home for many. Some people are grateful they are finally out of a toxic relationship. Others have discovered that the type of relationship they thought they had, or the person they thought they were married to, no longer exists. If you are in a situation where you feel unsafe or unhappy, please take the necessary steps to take care of you. That first step can give you back the rest of your life. Thank you to my guests for having the courage to be intentional about love and for joining me at the station to share their stories. Special thanks to Mirabella, Kincaid, Frederick, and Mirabella. Hopefully you have been entertained, if not encouraged or inspired. I do not promise to be an expert, nor do I have all the answers. I'm just Dana, being Dana. See you next time.